Here we go again. Another recycled media narrative about settler violence. Stick with me as the reality is very different. Let's call it for what it is. The problem is not the settlers in Judea and Samaria or the hilltop youth. And yeah, I'm proud to call myself a resettler because that's the language from the Bible. Litnachel, to settle the land. The problem is the fact that the state of Israel, the security establishment, the legal establishment, and much of the Jewish people continue to refuse to act like a true sovereign in Judea and Samaria and properly protect the lives of the close to 1 million Jewish civilians who live here. They just don't want to do it. They want to treat us like separate, like different, and not act like the true sovereign and not apply sovereignty and not protect ourselves and not treat our enemy like they should be treated. For decades, the Arab Muslims in Judea and Samaria terrorize innocent Jews, sometimes brutally murdering whole families without the proper punishment to stop it. And the Palestinian Authority continues to exist while it pays salaries to terrorists. The biggest proof that it is a terror-supporting organization and must be disbanded. Arabs steal land in Judea and Samaria each and every day, with the blatant support of international organizations and far-left Jewish organizations like Rabbis for Human Rights. And the European Union and United Nations continue to finance illegal Arab-Muslim land grabs throughout Judea and Samaria by building illegal roads and illegal communities across Judea and Samaria, stealing our land. As the IDF, security services, and legal authorities do nothing to end this situation, many youths from Judea and Samaria and from all over Israel have filled the void to protect our lives and our lands, literally with their bare hands, by acting as a deterrent against the daily evil that surrounds us, by settling the hilltops with farms and outposts. Meanwhile, the elite, deep state, unelected individuals in power and organizations and media that every so often push the settler violence narrative in the media hope to delegitimize all us proud settler Jews in Judea and Samaria, to deflect from their failures and corruption, to deflect from the true jihadi Muslim enemy out to destroy all of us, and to try to create a reality to have us all expelled from our homes in Judea and Samaria for being the obstacles to peace, because they're always focusing on us being the problem, not our jihadi Muslim enemies being the problem, even after October 7th, because that's their ultimate goal, to get us out of Judea and Samaria, to make Israel less Jewish and weaken the Jewish religious public. If Israel acted as a true sovereign, punished every terrorist, terror organization like the Palestinian Authority and Hamas, and all their supporters who shouldn't be allowed to live around us because they support killing us, and they protected Israeli citizens properly, there wouldn't be a single hilltop youth or settler kids on hilltops. And the manufactured headlines about settler violence would never appear. I've stood on those Judean hilltops myself as part of my IDF service in this war effort these past 2 years, alongside the very young men and women. Yes, there are women out there too, young women. The media now all call violent settlers and settler youth and hilltop youth. I know some of them personally. I've literally served beside them in trying to protect the people and the land in this war. These kids aren't thugs. They're idealists. They're the sons and daughters of families who believe in the Jewish mission to protect our lives and rebuild our ancestral land. They live under constant threat, surrounded by Palestinian Authority Arab Muslims on all sides, literally, who have thousands of legal weapons who can use them at any moment. These unbelievable youth are out shepherding farm animals, all on their own, without guns to protect themselves, patrolling at nights, watching over roads where terrorists have struck, and knowing that every night could bring another infiltration into a Jewish community or their community. I was out there doing this with them. The fear out there, especially at night, is real. I know. I felt it when I was out there for those night shifts, patrolling with them against all the Arab villages surrounding us. And they do this every single night, overcoming that fear. How many other teenagers around the world do you know would do that? They understand the jihadi mentality, not from theory, but from experience. The Arab Muslims are always trying to encroach on our lands all the time, trying to steal their livestock and destroy their property. They know that Israel survives only when Jews stand strong and unafraid, not waiting for the IDF to appear after the terror attacks are committed. And they refuse to apologize for defending themselves, their communities, and the land of Israel. After October 7th, more and more Israelis have begun to understand what these youth have known all along. Our hold on Judea and Samaria is not a fringe project. Judea and Samaria is the front line of national defense for all of Israel to ensure that an October 7th atrocity never happens again from the Arab Muslims in Judea and Samaria or the Palestinian Authority or Hamas in Judea and Samaria. The hilltop farms on those hills protect the heart of Israel. Without them, the Palestinian Authority would be seizing all these hilltops across Judea and Samaria, hilltop by hilltop, creating a de facto state and cutting Israel in half and endangering all Israeli citizens even more. Yet instead of gratitude for saving Israel, these young guardians are smeared as the problem, as if the real threat to Israel's stability is not Hamas or jihadi Islam, but the dozens of Jewish teenagers with tzitzit and Israeli flags out with sheep and goats. These youth are not driven by hate. They're driven by reality and belief. They know that if they are not out on these hilltops, setting up these farms and outposts, the Arab Muslims would be taking them over and endangering our lives because the state of Israel and the IDF wouldn't stop them from taking away our land. And they believe, as generations of Jews have, that God chose the Jewish people to live in his holy land, to sanctify it through our presence and our courage, and to get rid of the evil that is not allowed to be here because it's God's holy land. In every generation, Jews have been called to push back the forces of evil and chaos that rise against us and the freedom-loving world. And these young people are doing exactly that by living on these hilltops across Judea and Samaria. They see the terror and the terror infrastructure right in front of their eyes. They're surrounded by it. And they are the ones provoked by the terrorist farmers and foreign-funded provocateurs each and every day. So they step in where the system fails. Their mission is not vengeance. It's protection. Protection of life, protection of holiness, and protection of the divine purpose of the Jewish people in our land, God's holy land. The rest of the nation of Israel should be thanking these hilltop youth, not demonizing them, because they are protecting us all of Israel. They are heroes. They are living the covenant that our ancestors dreamt of fulfilling. And by protecting all of Israel, Israel is the front line of the whole freedom-loving world. They're protecting the whole freedom-loving world. So every person in the freedom-loving world should be thanking them. And yet, open a paper or scroll through social media, and you'll see the same refrain: settler violence, Jewish extremists, hilltop youth, pogroms against the Arabs. It's the latest moral panic to try to whitewash the evil of our jihadi Muslim enemies by making us proud Jews sound worse. Social media shows blurry clips of masked men on hilltops, fires in the background. It's easy to believe until you remember how the same international chorus lied about Israel for 2 years, committing a genocide in Gaza, recycling Hamas propaganda and fake casualty data that the United Nations spread and the media spread. For 2 years, even the United Nations, human rights NGOs, and major news networks echoed Hamas talking points. Now they're doing it again, this time including much Israeli Jewish media again, this time about lies of settler violence. Here's what the media hides. Most so-called settler violence never happens. They're just straight out lies, like in the headline of this recent fire incident. First reported as settler violence around the world, and then in Israel corrected to reflect a fire in an Arab home. It was just a fire. There's no Jew anywhere around. But all around the world it was reported as settler violence. Something bad happens to an Arab in Judea and Samaria? Oh, easy. They just blame it on settler violence. No one cares about checking the facts anywhere in the journalistic world today. And they get away with their lies. Just as the burned church back in the summer was blamed on settler youth in Samaria, while it was done by the Arabs. And no church was even burned. Just the greenery that surrounded an ancient stone church building that's not even used as a church. And it was the settler youth who ran out to put out the fire. Even though the video footage of them putting out the fire was spread around the world and used to smear them as the arsonists. These media stories literally cannot be believed. Total manipulation to build the settler violence and have people around the world hate settlers and hate Jews and hate Israel. Then there are the incidents that begin with deliberate provocation against us. Terror groups and Palestinian Authority operatives pose as farmers. They approach Jewish fields with cameras ready, often escorted by foreign anarchists who come specifically to film confrontations. They taunt, they attack the Jewish shepherds, they throw stones at them, or they trespass on Jewish land. Then, when Jewish youth defend themselves or push them back, that's when the filming starts. And the world sees only the second half of the story. The setup, the provocation, and the constant harassment of the Jewish shepherds and their communities are conveniently erased. So don't believe what the media is telling you. It's a cynical media operation designed to create viral clips, NGO reports, and more international condemnation of Israel across the global media to deflect from the true evil of the jihadi Muslim enemy to us all. Yes, once in a while, some Jewish youth might get out of hand and do things. Does that make it settler violence to delegitimize all of us and justify a worldwide campaign to delegitimize all Jewish settlers in Judea and Samaria and all of Israel? No. And when that does happen, and it's proven that it happens, they're punished by the authorities. What we are experiencing is clearly a propaganda narrative against us. Now, why does this narrative persist? Because this tiny clique, deep state, unelected establishment, the same entrenched powers being exposed today in the legal establishment for corruption and politicization, needs a new villain to deflect from themselves and redirect to their campaign to expel us proud Jews from Judea and Samaria, because they want Israel to be less Jewish. And being in Judea and Samaria means that we're really a Jewish country. Rather than confronting the true evil that threatens Israel and the terror networks embedded in our midst, they redirect public anger towards the religious, patriotic, proud Jews who refuse to bow to their failed appeasing ideology. Because to the deep state, the biggest danger to Israel is not Hamas and Islamic Jihad enemy out to destroy the whole freedom-loving world. It's the religious right-wing Messianic Jews, and I'm proud to believe in the Messiah, and what better way to delegitimize us all than by pushing the blood libel of settler violence that the world is just so eager to eat up and push out there. This political left deep state elite have turned the moral compass upside down. Those fulfilling God's purpose, fellow Jews also under attack from the same jihadi Muslim enemy as the Jews who are part of the deep state. They're the ones branded as extremists and a danger to the Jewish state of Israel, while those jihadi Muslims who enable terror and commit horrific acts of terror against us, oh, they must be appeased. They must be allowed to live near us. They can't be punished properly to deter them. The truth is that these settler youth are our modern Maccabees, strong, moral, and unafraid. They protect the rest of us while the world lectures them from afar. They farm, they build, they defend, often without any thanks from anybody, and sometimes even without physical backup to defend their lives. They are not the danger. These settler youth are the shield between Israel and evil. I've sat with these hilltop youth, and I've done guard duty with them on the hilltops, as I told you earlier. Yes, some of them hate our jihadi Muslim enemies, as we all should hate our jihadi Muslim enemies, because our jihadi Muslim enemies are a modern Amalek, literally representing the worst evil that exists on the earth today. But our youth talk about faith, responsibility, and destiny. They are acting out of those motivators. They believe, as I do, that we are living in a time of divine opportunity, a time to restore holiness to the land and strength to the Jewish people. And that's how we're able to help the whole freedom-loving world and all of humanity. So here's my invitation. Come to the hilltops of Judea and Samaria with me and see them for yourself with your own eyes. Join me on a visit to Judea and Samaria and see these hilltops. Meet the youth. Meet some of the young families living there. Meet the soldiers and the farmers, the shepherds. Walk their fields. See the sheep and the goats. Hear their stories and see exactly what they're up against. You'll see that what the world calls extremism is actually faith in action. The fulfillment of a promise thousands of years ago, being implemented by youth, 17, 18, 19-year-olds. If you care about Israel's future and the future of the world, do not let anyone tell you that these young heroes are villains. Stand with them, visit them, support them, because they are not the problem. They are the living expression of God's covenant with his people in his holy land. The problem is a small minority, select few Jews who are excited to throw their own brethren under the bus, shame us, smear us, delegitimize us, because they foolishly believe that their fellow Jews, are more dangerous to the Jewish people than jihadi Muslim enemy we're all up against. Again, thankfully, this group of people is very small and growing smaller by the day in Israel. But they still have enough power and enough positions and unelected positions in the government to push their evil manipulative agenda against us proud Jewish settlers together with their partners in the mainstream media. But hold your heads up high. We Jewish people survived the Egyptians. We survived the Romans. We survived the Nazis. We are surviving the evil of our jihadi Muslim enemy today. And we will survive the efforts of this small, elite, very much anti-Jewish identity of people within the Jewish people today. Do not get demoralized. Stick with the truth. Understand we're living in unbelievable times, and times are going to get better. And while there's this tiny elite are always going to cause these horrible headlines to deflect from their evil, of appeasing the evil, and in order to deflect from the true enemy, and always creating division to make people think that some of us strong, proud Jews are the problem, understand, they're tiny. Most of the Jewish people are united to move forward together and build an unbelievable Jewish state of Israel, even with our differences. Don't let the headlines get you down. Be inspired. Hold on and strengthen your identity and strengthen your faith in God. We're going to come out of this unbelievably. Am Yisrael Chai. And don't forget to reach out to come on a tour of the Judea and Samaria hilltops to see all this with your own eyes. If you are not yet a subscriber to our daily, belief-based, inspiring, politically incorrect, truthful videos about Israel, the Jewish people, and the freedom-loving world, what are you waiting for? Go to pulsevisual.com and click to subscribe today. And yes, we are a donor-based operation. We need your donations for support in order to make these videos and get our videos seen and do all the work we do. So every once in a while, whether a large donation or a small donation, just go to pulsevisual.com and click on the donate button. Shalom, everyone, and thanks for watching.
Pulse of Israel, frontline videos from the Holy Land. Support our work by donating today.